All right. Like I said, today is going to be we're going to be looking at how you can apply for jobs, how you can do your CVs, and also how you can get your CV reviewed by people that is in the team. So if you've done your CV and you want it to be reviewed, talk to your mentor in your group. So and then also, you can as well talk to Mumin. He's one of the administrators for the school, or Oyin also can help you get his CV reviewed. It's a role to be able to do that. And after that is application. I am in charge of the application to ensure that you apply appropriately and you apply to the right channel and using the right approach. So, and then also the CV, yeah, I've talked about the CV review. There's interview preparation. So for interview preparation, there are people that has been assigned for those interview. At the top of the cadre is myself, Deji, and there's Patricia, and also there's Biola. Because I know there's some BA interns also in the group, so Biola is going to be doing the interview preparation for the BAs. Myself and Patricia will be doing the interview preparation for the QAs. And however, there's also your mentors, because in some cases you also will be talking to your mentors. So you need to speak to your mentor also if you have any interview preparations and that you want you we organize mock interviews for you, and also we put you into like interview conditions and then ask you questions and give you feedback on what you do and also tell you how you do and also give you feedback on what you need to do before the interview. So if you do have any interviews lined up, so please do let us know so that we can do that. And also, as you know, this program is hosted by a church, so we believe in power of prayer also, and in as much as we do train, we also do pray. So if you also want to, if you are going for an interview, you want us to pray along with you, you can as well join. There's a prayer session on every Wednesday at 8 p.m. So for us, we are having our what's it called, fasting time from now to the end of the month. So I would advise, I would tell you the number to call. There's a conference number that people do call if you want to, if you want people to pray along with you for your interviews. So you can also hook up to that number, and then it's normally 8 to 8:30 on Wednesday. So I'll send a number to you so that you can actually call. But as from now to end of February, we have prayer session every day. On the same number is at 8:30 to 9 o'clock. Okay. So to wrap up that, so I said, if you want your CV reviewed, send it across to admin@blueskycitadel.com. So if you want your CV reviewed, send it to admin@blueskycitadel.com. Then after the CV review, also if you want interview preparation, also send the same message to admin@blueskycitadel.com also for any interview prep that you want. And also we're going to be having sessions for applications also. Okay, so let's start today. Today we start from beginning. If you want to get your CV done, so if you want to do your CV, what exactly do you need to do? How do you go about that? So let's go through that together. Okay. 1 minute. Any question before I start? Okay. Let's say you are about to do your CV. We start from the very beginning. So to do your CV, you open a Word, and let's say you click on New, and let's search for templates for resume. So you have these several templates. So let's look at, this is one modern chronological resume. So I think maybe I would use that. This is one I can favor. And in the UK, we don't do CV with pictures, so you can leave the word with pictures, or even if you do put pictures, you need to remove them. And so, and this could be another one. Color, the extended one. That should be another one that you can use. So, and I think so. So let's see what the one at the top. Okay, let's use this one. Okay, it's got your first name and your last name, and then so your first name and your last name, your telephone, your address, your phone number. Then you could as well put your LinkedIn profile. Also, and I'm not sure about Twitter if you have something in there, but I would advise you put your email address, or you can as well put it email. So your LinkedIn profile, blah 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 blah. So let's say, so now you have your personal statement or personal objectives, so you can as well put your career objective here, which is kind of a brief description about you. So I would bring some things out. 1 minute. So Okay, all right. So this is just a quick sample from my own profile. So that for my CV, I say I've got executive MBA and also MSc Computer Science. Just quick description about yourself. I've got an exceptional and exemplary leadership and mentoring and management experience as a technical test lead and manager. So in these disciplines, then I started my career as a developer. So just like selling yourself basically, and also where I have worked. So and I think I put some videos about what I've done in previous roles. So then okay. So then experience, we go through the experience. So we start from date you start and also to the other date. So let's say I start one date from 01 01 2019. That's when I start this and to present. Okay. So this is what's your job profile? Said it's software analyst, software test analyst, or whatever is your profile. Then the name of the company is ABC Limited. Okay. Then you describe your responsibilities. You describe your responsibility, what you do, and everything. So we're going to talk about that. How do you start describing those responsibilities? What are the right words to use? And yeah, from there. So then the previous one, maybe you also start that one on the 1st of January 2010. So of course, maybe you finish that at the 31st of 12, 2018. So the same way, let's say this is now a test lead, or let's say it's a senior test analyst, where this is now software. All right, so let's say this is software test analyst. You can and the name is limited. So then also in terms of you need to write your responsibilities also. I said we're going to come about you discuss that later when we start the application. So education, you put your years and everything, your degree or any of the qualifications that you do have, and you put your skills, and if you have any activities you put them. But let's start with the experience now. So let's say now you want to describe your responsibility. I'm going to go through application. I'll come back on this one also in a few minutes. Okay. Let's go to job application. So let's go through job application. We're going to come back to the CV right now. Okay. So if you want to apply for jobs, what are the sites that you would normally use? You would use one of the popular one is JobServe. You use CW Job, use Monster, that's LinkedIn also, Twitter Job. Okay. So let's start from these popular ones now. Let's start with JobServe. Okay. To search, what do you actually search for when you're searching for jobs? What do you search for? So you search for jobs in software testing. So some people will say software testing. For the title you are looking for, I don't think you need to put testing there, software there. You're looking for any title that contains testing or QA or STET, which is software development engineering in test. So, or if you also say test or quality assurance. So you can also copy the same into the keywords and you put your location, and also if you are first applying as your first application, I'll just say leave the location, and then it's fine 50 miles, because you want your CV to go through everybody. You want your CV to go to every recruiter in the market. So, and also look at the country that you're applying to. So if you click the selection and I say I'm looking only the UK. Okay. Open. So for instance, let me clear. I'm only interested in UK. It is set. Okay. So if you're interested in the other part, you can set it. So let's say we start with the UK and we save our selection. Okay. Yeah. So this is UK, and also you could as well go to the and put location. Let's say London. That's what I want, and I want 50 miles from London. So okay. So as you can see, these are different. So we got 357 different rows on this caliber. So if you also want to restrict in terms of within the days that you want, or even the type of the, if you are looking for permanent or you're looking for contract or you're looking for any, so you can also select that. So and so, or if you're looking for direct employees or recruiter, you can as well just select that. So and that's it. Or if you're looking for the one that's sponsored visa or the one that's sponsored, that's called sponsorship offer, you can click on anyone. So and also you can also select the salaries that you are looking for, or you can leave it open. So okay, so let's search. So, and the next one now, like I said, the next one is application. I do advise people to apply as many as possible. Okay, there's a question that says how many page is the best CV? So the question is now, which type of roles are you applying for? For instance, if you're applying for, like I said, yeah, if you're applying for a contract role is different from when you're applying for a permanent role, right? If you're applying for a permanent role and as an entry um, role, I would advise you do 2 to 3 page CV. So if it's entry or maybe 2 or 3 years, 2 to 3 page CV. If you are going to senior management level, so and also you are applying for contract, there's assumption that you will have moved in different roles or different profiles or job or roles. So because of that, I think this my opinion, to be honest. So it might differ from other people. So, and I would say four pages should be fine, or 4 to 6 should be fine. And I can say I have applied a lot of roles. I have done a lot of contracts myself, and yeah, and my CV is up to like 7 pages, and I will tell you why it is. To be honest, I might show you later, so I will tell you why it is. So but if you're applying for contracts, right, you would need to be putting different projects that you've worked on, different roles that you've done, and all in that. So before you talk about if you are moving from one role to the other, let's say every year or 2 years, so and you've worked for almost like 10 years, so in that regard, so you would have like maybe at least 4 page CV to be able to consider that. But however, you would want to limit some other ones that are so far from your CV. So like if you have a role that's been maybe 8 years or 7 years, so you would just kind of briefly mention those roles. So, but you lay emphasis on the other ones that are very recent. So that's my approach, and that would be my advice, to be honest. So okay, so now the next one that I want to talk about is your application. So as you are in this internship program, right, I would advise you every day to apply, I would say 25 applications every day. So like I said, I will be monitoring it. I will be making sure that you do 25 every day. So if you're not doing 25, I don't think you're doing enough. As you can see, you have 357 rows in this one. So as a starter, I will tell you, you don't care, to be honest, in the first instance. So let's say you are starting your application from tomorrow. I will say these 357 applications, you just need to click on them and apply to all of them. So some people will ask me, oh, because I'm just entering the market, why will I apply to an head of QA? Yeah, it's okay, right? Because one, you will get a rejection letter, which is fine. But what is going to happen is like they will keep your CV, and if there's any roles that are related to you or that is suitable for you, they might contact you. And some of them will actually look at your CV and they say, it's not actually suitable for this role, but there's other role that is suitable for. They can call you for that particular role. And who never knows, they can even call you for this particular role. So if you, as much as possible, apply to a lot of roles. So what I advise some people to do is like when you already search for like this, you don't need to open the for your first or 2 days of application. You don't need to open it, right? You just need to click on add to your job. Click on that. Click on this. That will be adding this particular audio job profile into your basket. It's going to be adding everything. So you don't even need to read this particular role, the job descriptions at this particular time. Any roles that fit that profile you've identified, apply to all of them. And it's so funny that I used to say, I tell people apply, and some people have applied to the extent that they apply for an MOC tester. So it was, yeah. But of course, the person will just call you and say, "Did you see that? Did you actually read the job description?" But it's fine. You don't need to worry about that. I'll tell you. You don't need to worry about that. So let your CV go to every job, every recruiter in the market. Let them know there's a new tester in town and they've not actually seen the CV. Let your phone continue to ring every time. So for your phone to ring every time, you need to apply to as much as possible. Then at the point you now need to stop. So as I said, 25 application per day. That is after, like in the next 1 week, I would say you need to apply like 50 per day, to be honest. And even like when you do this search, there's nothing stopping you from applying to all the 365 in 1 or 2 days. Then also after that, maybe in a day, maybe you have 50 applications, then you start to apply. So that's the sequence. Then after that, maybe after like 3 or 4 days, then you can sit down and apply to 25 roles. When you apply for that 25, you can take a moment to read the job description. But let's go through that right now. So we see some job description. So now I'm going to go through the job description. What? Let's go to the one that is not test manager. Okay, this is not a good example. Okay, all right. Let's look at this. Right. So now, so let's say I copy this. Right. I can decide to start my CV from there. My first row, let's say this is my first row. So 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 now you can see I've started building this. I said, okay, it's basically from what I copied, right? So, and I can say, Okay, so you just need to go through that. That's first way to start. You can look at the job profile and then amend the job profile with what you've done and also what you're applying for. So, and you can see, then this is 1 minute. I'll come to that one later. So yeah, like I said, there are different ways to write your CV. If you're writing your CV for contracting, I'll tell you the secret you need to do. So you put your job profile here, right? Also, you need to do your technical snapshot. Your technical snapshot, you put different tools that you've used in this particular role. So I've used Jenkins, JUnit, Cucumber, C Sharp, I've used. So most of this one also, you want to also write them at the top here in your requirements. What's it? So in most cases, 1 minute, I will bring another thing up here. So another thing is like performed. So perform system testing and everything. So which is standard for most of uh, a QA role. So and you can do that. So and also you can say performed. So you can, okay, I perform automation using tools like, so and maybe Jira. So then that means you need to also put this one here, Jira and Azure DevOps. So right now, like you can see, for one row, you've got Selenium here, and you will have Selenium here also. So if you have like two rows, you're going to have Selenium also here and also Selenium in your snapshot. So because what happens is like when you submit your CV, they look at how strong your CV is. How do they measure how strong the CV is? Basically how many times that particular word appears in your CV. For instance, if you send your CV to a recruiter and Selenium only appears in one place, and I send my own and it appears in 10 places. So and they see Selenium and they feel able to say they do Control F and they say Selenium and it appears, they can see that 7 places it's where it actually appears. But yours only appears in one because you've only highlighted it on one place. Yeah. So that is not enough. You need to be able to be know how to put those things into your CV and use them constructively. Actually, as you can see, I put technical snapshots, and I'm going to put all those technologies and tools that I've used in this particular role. I'll put them here, and also I'll put them even in the context of my requirements. So when I say I am doing, I use BDD, I put spec flow. If I say I did automation, and I will put Selenium there. If I say I use manual testing, I put the tools that I've used. If I say I've done performance testing, I'll put the tools that I use for performance testing also there. So by doing that, I'll also put them here also. Even I'll also come here also. Even here, I'll do another technical snapshot here. I'll do a technical snapshot here. This will now include all my skills, right? Those ones I've put here on this particular job profile. I'll put them here. So, and also will include, if, because they might change, maybe at this particular row. Let me copy this now. So let's say at this row I did not do C# and it's basically Java. So I would change that to Java, but that would mean that Java also comes at this top. So this is going to be the standard for all my tools that I've used. So this will be one page. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Okay, let's continue anyway. So this will be this technical snapshot for all my career basically. So, and if that means if I work in 10 places, and I'm going to have technical snapshot for all the 10 places, and you can imagine whether, let's say I've worked in 6 places right now, and I've used Selenium in those 6 places. That will mean that my Selenium is going to appear in my CV in at least 12 places plus 1 here, making 13. So, but some people would not have written it into their CV. They will just put it in one place and they think that is enough. It's not, to be honest. You need to be able to put it everywhere, and so that they will know. Because in some cases, recruiter would not even open your CV. They will just try to select your CV from the rest. The first thing they do is like Control F, and they do Control F, and they look at Selenium. Okay, in all the CV, maybe it's even them, it's not even them that will check. Also, it's going to be like they'll run it through a computer to actually see, is your CV strong. You can see Selenium appears 5 places. So but let's assume that over here right now I've got another job profile and I'll put it. So then it's going to be more. For instance, if this one is not here right now, and then it is your CV and you didn't put any snapshot, and you didn't put any snapshot here also, and this is gone, so you didn't put any snapshot here. So Selenium only going to appear in this here, and going to be only 1 or 2. So then they will ask your CV is not strong enough, basically, because it did not actually put that particular keyword that they are looking for in different parts of your CV. We need to look into that. It's very, very important. So, okay. So, and so let's go ahead. So then also, in most cases, when you are going through the job profile or job description, you look at different things that you've done, and you could be able to update your CV accordingly. And I tell people, you don't do your CV and just leave it like that. Like if you send a CV to me today and I ask you next month to send your CV to me and your CV still look the same way, that means you've not actually done anything in your CV. Your CV should evolve every time, basically. Because when you're applying for roles, you look at your role on your CV and you look at, oh, this particular job description, I've done it before, but it's not on my CV. You should be able to update your CV accordingly. And that means your CV should evolve every time. You should do CV for different particular roles, actually. So it's not like you do a CV today and many years come to the line, it's still going to be the same thing. It is not. It should not be like that. You should do your CV for that particular role, and you should do it also evolving. So, and you can go as you're applying for roles. You should look at those roles. As you can see, these roles they are looking for. This is what they are searching for. You're going to test engineer. I think I didn't put that also. Maybe you also need to add that test engineer, lead software tester, lead tester. So those are the keywords that you also will be searching for because they know that this is what users can search for and they put it in their CV. This is their school of thought. This is what they are thinking. They are thinking that users or applicants will be searching for all these terms and they put it in their own job descriptions so that they can be able to, this particular job profile will come at the top. The same way also when you are doing your CV, you should be able to know that what they are looking for in their job profile is on your CV. So and also because sometimes you have done something and you think it's so minute, but because it's on that job profile and you for oh that's true. I have also done this, but it's not on my CV. So you need to update your CV accordingly because of that. So because let me assuming you work in a place for 6 months, everything that you do in that 6 months is not going to go into your CV. Some of them you think they are not relevant. Some of them so based on the job that you're applying for, you look at the roles that you've done and you put the relevant one in your CVs. So and when you're applying for another one, you look at one that relevant. You remove the irrelevant ones. So that means that's by that you are making your CV to evolve at every particular time. Is there any question? So So I'll bring a CV out for you guys to look into. Okay. Well, that's a question. Said, is there any penalty if you exaggerate your CV? I don't know what you mean by exaggeration, to be honest. So in most cases, people will talk about your CV. Your CV is what you are using to market yourself, basically. So how do you market yourself? Of course, you don't need to shortchange yourself. You don't need to put yourself down. You need to put things in how it should be. You need to look at that to see what have you done on your CV. And it's basically is a marketing tool for yourself. It's what you are using to market yourself. So, and of course, you shouldn't put something in your CV that you cannot defend. You've not actually done. So it's yeah, you go to interviews, then you look stupid in that. So that's not what we are talking about. We're talking about some when you've done things and then you look at the job profile and you can be able to establish that oh yeah, I have done this, but it's not in my job, it's not in my profile. Let's look at a good example here. So for instance, let's go to developer in test in Agile. Okay, so for instance, right now, you might have worked in a place and you have used Scrum, right? And you think that is not required because you've already put Agile. Okay, because for instance, let's say this is my CV, right? I have said I've got experience in Agile development using with testing and applications. So I can now break this one down and put this in a different way, and I say work in Agile environment using Scrum. As you can see now, it's now more explanatory because now I've already told them the type of frameworks I have used, basically. So there's a question: what do you say about CV specialists doing CV for one instead of yourself? Okay, all right. So I think even if you use a CV specialist, you should be able to defend what the specialists have done. In most cases, the specialist might be able to put your CV in a better wordings. So, for instance, I've seen a case when recruiter calls me and say, "Oh, this is not in your CV, but in job description is required." A good example is what I have done right now. So maybe in my CV, I just put agile. I've worked in agile development, and this job profile is talking about agile and is saying scrum and kanban because it's what the recruiter is going to do before they send my CV to a recruiter. They want to look at different CV. How many CVs has got agile? Maybe 10 CVs. So other CVs that hasn't got agile, they are not going to be submitted. Okay, out of the 10 CV, how many CV has got scrum? Maybe 5. In how many places? So that's where they are going to separate those things. So for instance, if you are working in a scrum or a kanban, but I didn't put that and I've only put it in agile, that means my CV is not going to be submitted. It's not going to be submitted. So like for instance, TDD is standard for most people, right? And also BDD. If for instance, if you use SpecFlow, you're going to say using SpecFlow, but you didn't put BDD there. But because you did not put BDD and only put SpecFlow, that means your CV is not going to be submitted. So that's why I said in some cases you need to tailor your CV to what the requirement says. So I think there's other question. Considering the different job sites that we have registered our CV. Okay, do we need to apply and change our CV every time? Yeah, it's very, very important. I'll show you right now. In most cases, where you will have a static CV, right? You have a static CVs that are so generic that you know that covers most of the jobs. And then, like I said, when you first start, let's say you are starting now, 357 rows. I'm not expecting you to write CV for each of them, right? You're not going to be writing CV for all of them and look at them. So one thing you're going to do, like for example, is this one, right? Most people doing developer in test or test analyst will have been able to know agile, either Scrum or Kanban, right? So you would already work in a TDD, you already work in a BDD, and also for you to be able to use SpecFlow and also even automation testing, you would already should know object-oriented software life cycle. So maybe it's Java or C Sharp. We've done C Sharp anyway. So and yeah, as you can see, hands-on manual. For instance, this is a good example also. As you can see, when I wrote mine in my job description, I said that where's the manual testing I put? Yeah, performed manual testing using tool. Because in some cases, when recruiter are going to be looking at, they're going to look at specific things. Specific things. So do I need to say perform or do I need to say hands-on? Because in some cases they are looking people with hands-on experience because some people can say, oh, I am a test lead or a test manager, I don't do hands-on, but I know how to do it. So in that regard, you can decide to say, oh, you put hands-on in your profile. So and say perform hands-on manual testing. So as you can see, it doesn't do any harm, but you are saying that it's not like you delegate the manual testing to people, but you perform it, you perform hands-on manual testing using that. As you can see, my CV right now is evolving based on the job profile I am reading on. So as you are reading it, you say, oh, this is a nice word. You add it to your CV. But it still makes sense. It's not like it's different from what you are doing. But because when the recruiter are searching for it, they'll be searching for specific keywords and buzzwords. So for instance, also, this is a good example. I have put Selenium, right? So let's say now this recruiter is searching for WebDriver. Oh, really? There's no WebDriver in my CV, but I have already put Selenium, and it's Selenium WebDriver. So that with that, I am actually shooting myself on the foot. So in that regard, I know I need to put WebDriver where I have Selenium because it's actually Selenium WebDriver. So they will not come to you and say, "Oh, I've seen Selenium on your CV, but because you didn't put WebDriver, so we know it is the same thing." No, because other people will put it the same like that, and they put Selenium WebDriver. So in that, I will put it in my technical snapshot and also where I have used it like that, and I put so. And then I'll go like that. So experience in cloud-based. This is another thing that people do ask me every time. For cloud-based testing, in some cases the application that you are testing is based on cloud. But recruiters still want to ask you, do you have experience with cloud-based testing? Yes. So the issue is that which part of testing do you have? The application that I tested is based on the cloud. So in that regard, I will say I will also put that in my CV, and I will say, so I can say performed So this is one way I say, okay, yeah, when I'm looking for cloud, they will see that it's on my CV because I did actually performed testing for some application that's based on the cloud. But now this is not so sufficient, is in the sense that some people will look for cloud, and from this CV, as from this job required, you can see they are looking for AWS. It's also possible that you've worked with AWS before, or you work with different cloud base, then you need to put it there. And so and like I can decide to just put it to just make, yeah. So when they're looking for cloud, it's there. If you also talking about AWS, is there. Or if you want to say, oh, it's Azure, okay, is there. So you need to be explicit and know that everything that you've done, you are able to write it down and write it in that regard. So let's continue. Like for instance, let's say you are testing the application that we're testing now. You need to know where is it hosted or something like that. But there's different things. So outstanding communication, and this is so simple. So and that's that. So let's look at other one and we'll go along. Okay, then as you can see now, so next lesson, and we're going to talk about API testing using Postman. So on Saturday, on Thursday. So please, yeah, look forward to that. So you can Google Postman testing. Another one is continuous integration. So you also need to also like put it and say, okay, continuous integration. So I've done continuous integration. So this is not understanding now. So or let's say configured. So this is another thing also in terms of when you continuous integration. So you don't say CI because if you put CI then it's fine. So you can now put it in brackets. If they want to search for CI, they will see it. So if they want to search continuous integration, they will see it. But how did you use it? With or using with, you can, okay, Jenkins or TeamCity or maybe Bamboo or whatever you use. Anyway, so you can put all those ones there. So if you just say, oh yeah, I've configured TeamCity and or I've configured continuous integration, it is not sufficient. You need to be as explicit as possible. So as you can see now, this my CV, it's, yeah, it's going, it's been expanding, and that's what I've done. So and and experience using cross-browser device and everything. So yeah, I can say, so which type of cross-browser testing? That's using browser stack, or I can say maybe Appium is what I've used. So as I'm mentioning those tools, I am going to be adding them here. I'll talk about TeamCity. I'll put it here. I've talked about at the top Appium. It's going to be here. I've also talked about which other two I have mentioned. So yeah, SpecFlow is also there. So I've mentioned SpecFlow. Yeah, AWS. So the same way also I will do for this particular row that I'm going to describe later. So yeah, so that one also is going to be there. So the same way I will put the snapshot at the top here. This is the global snapshot for all the rows. So and then we'll continue from there. So let's look at other rows also. Okay. So you can see different row. Okay, this is manual testing. That's great. Okay, so this is one thing that I was talking about here. So which could go into instead of what you have here, something like that. So let me, okay. So like so, I am a self starter, ambitious and everything, about quality, I striving startup. So something like that is what you're going to put in your objective. So okay. All right. So okay. So let's continue. As you can see, this is what you're going to be doing. So for each of the rows, you need to do the technical snapshot, and also you need to do your job profile. And also, in some cases, some people will still put the skills that you acquire and everything. So And in terms of your education, you want to put your, maybe if you have bachelor's or master's or even or PhD or any certification that you have, you want to put them here also is very, very important. So so I'm going to quickly copy a part of my CV out. Okay, so this is what I have done before. Okay, so this is my responsibility on this particular role, ABC Limited. Okay, so my role is to create and execute cost-efficient test strategy, plan, executive risk-based approach at the project program level. So let's say this is me being a test lead. So, and also I manage and I plan test activities and everything, train QAs, I ask QA, mentor them, provide advice on. So all these things is what I already put. And also, as you can see, I set up TDD and I use SpecFlow, Selenium, I have extensive SQL experience of big data. So I perform, yeah, that's what I was talking about right now. Perform hands-on manual and automation testing of APIs and web services. So, and you can see we went through this in the last class also. So I use different techniques, boundary value analysis and everything. So use inputs, create all these things. So cross browser using browser stack, calabash and Xamarin, setup, continuous integration using TeamCity. So some achievements that I've done, I also put them. I acted as a Scrum Master, and I move a team into Agile, Scrum methodology, propose, TeamCity, TFS, and save them money. So, and also technical snapshots. As you can see, I put all the tools I have used from Visual Studio, Coded UI, Java, C Sharp, JavaScript in all the roles, and also browser stack, everything that I have used, uh, and also I listed the application that I tested also, which I think is common in the company. So most of the tools that you think you use and how you use them, you put them in there. So that is that on your. So as you can see now, before you know, my CV is now. I've not even filled my education or my skill. Maybe let's say this is not. Maybe you might not even need it if you don't put this again. But you need your degrees and if you have one and everything. So and and I've seen some people, this is the thing, right? You put things in your CV that doesn't add to you, that actually subtracts from you. I tell people, right, now you want to add your CV, right? So you put your CV, you put your name and everything. So if you have a great name like my own, like it's got Deji, which is not English, right? And you are British, at this point you put nationality here so that people will know that you are British is very, very important. So when they see your CV, they will know that yeah, you are actually British. So and also if you are not and you are working in the UK, the you put the type of work permit that you have, and if you don't require any, let's say you're on tier one or something like that and you don't require any work permit, you need to put it at this point, because by seeing your name sometimes it puts some people off to say, okay, do I need to apply for work permit for this particular person or doesn't need authorization to work in the UK. But putting it here also actually alleviate that particular fear to say you don't actually require any work permit, or if you say tier one general, I don't know what it's called right now anyway, if it's the right one. So does not require authorization to work in the UK. So by putting that, it also, because sometimes recruiter doesn't know all those things, so you need to provide those information for them to make it easier for them. And you put it like, so what you can actually use to sell yourself. Your CV is basically selling yourself. Basically, what do you need to put in your CV that can sell yourself? So for instance, if you are working anywhere, let's say this is in ABC Limited, is Lagos, Obanikoro. I don't, to be honest, as in, this is unnecessary information, to be honest, because who knows where Obanikoro is? So Lagos is still fine, or Nigeria. But I would rather just, okay, this is ABC Limited, right? Okay, let's say this is not even present. Let's say is the past one. Let's say this is Softcom. Softcom is in Ibadan. Who knows where is Ibadan, and you put Ibadan, Nigeria, something like that. So that's, I don't think that is required. So because it's unnecessary, to be honest. So I would rather just leave it like that and say Softcom Limited. If they ask me where is that, I can say is in Ibadan or is in Nigeria. So that's fine. But in the CV, I would rather just leave it like that. So, and even to the extent that if you come here and say, oh, what is your, I would say my role, my school is University of Ilorin. So if you want to care where University of Ilorin is and you ask me, I want to tell you is in Nigeria. So, and University of Edinburgh, if you don't know where that is, you ask me, I'll tell you it's Scotland. But that's fine. But I would rather just be silent on the countries, to be honest. So because one, if it doesn't add to me, or I don't need to actually put anything in there. So I will just, yeah. So for instance, yeah, Softcom, yeah. For, let's say this one is in London, I can decide to say, okay, this is in London. But the one that is in abroad, I rather just leave them. It doesn't add anything, to be honest. So, but if they ask me where is it in, I will say is in abroad, okay, or is in Nigeria, or is in the US, or is in Italy. So, but right now, I don't think you need to add it. So for that purpose. So yeah. So let's go back to the application. As I was saying, you just need to click on that and click on as many as possible. Then after you click on it, as you can see, the view basket is going to be increasing. So I think you can click as many as 25 on a go. So it's easy, to be honest. Within 2 or 3 minutes, you would be able to apply to 24 applications. You would be able to make 24 applications. So there's a question coming in again. 1 minute. It says some people say CV should not be more than 2 pages for a 5 years experience. I think I have answered this question, to be honest. I've said it depends on the roles that you're applying for. As you can see right now, this is now 3 pages if I remove some other redundancy stuff, actually. So, and I can remove some of those. I say even for 3 years, I'll say three, yeah, 3 page should be fine. 3 to 4 page should be fine. For if you are applying for what's it called, contract, yeah, this is what I want to say right now. For instance, for another thing, for people applying for contract, this is what I've done. The CV I've done is kind of a permanent CV, to be honest. If you're applying for permanent role, this is what. But if you're applying for contract as a contractor, most of your roles will be project based, right? Most of your roles is going to be project based. So after you've most of my CVs also, after I have put my, yeah, I have put this here as my role, and I put my responsibility, and then at the end I would highlight some of those ones. I would say uh, main projects. I will put the project. What's the name of the project? Let's say it is open banking. I will say this project. So this is one of the projects I did, and I'll put another project that I also did also, so that when they are looking at it as a contractor, they say, oh, this person has worked on open banking before. Oh, maybe it's the open banking. Okay, this also, I'll say this also includes API testing and automation testing using Specflow and Selenium WebDriver. So as you can see now, that jargons also is appearing here also, as is appearing even in my responsibility, appearing in my snapshot, and also is appearing in my main project. So before you know, it's like, if you now look at and you're talking about how many pages is it going to be like, as long as you are not duplicating things that are not relevant, okay, you are not just copying and pasting. So but it makes sense, isn't it? But this is the project, because most of it might not be relevant to the recruiter, but it will be relevant to the company that want to take you, actually, because they want to take you, they want to take someone that's worked in a similar project. So if you have worked in an open banking project and they're looking for open banking application, they're working on open banking application, then it's going to be easier for them to be able to say, or if you work in, you've used Specflow for some application and they are looking for someone with Specflow and API testing, then it's easy for them to look at and say, oh, this is it. And for you also, you'll be talking about those projects in your CV. That's what you're going to to be honest, you talk less on your on responsibility, because responsibility will be similar in all the roles, right? But the project will be different in the roles. Responsibility that as a software tester in this role will be totally similar to the one that you do here, but your project will be different, totally different, because it's not the same company. Unless you actually move from one company on, you move to in the same company. So that's what I would do. But in terms of number of pages, I would say it depends. So 2 pages for 5 year experience might not be relevant. If you are working in one company, that's fine. As a permanent person, that's fine. For instance, if it's only one experience and I've started since 2014 to present, then you're only going to have this experience, right? And it's also listed there, which is even long, to be honest. You can still cut them down. Your achievements, if you have any, your main project, snapshot, and you don't need this one again. And that's everything you find. So you have only like 3 pages, which is fine. And it's so that's it. But if you move from one company to the other and you have like 3 experience or 4 on different roles that you've done, so by that you have to limit the number of responsibility that you have. Maybe you have 4 or 5 here or 7, and then you put the next one in another one. Let's say we have another one here. Let's come and say. So let's say this is going to be another row, this another row, and before you know it, this is like 4 page anyway. So and that's what you are looking for, to be honest. But in most cases, you're looking for CV that will take you, that you would be able to get a role through. So and by that, to be honest, there an element of trial and error, to be honest. So that's why I wouldn't say 2 pages is enough. That's fine. 3 pages is enough. You are looking for a CV that will get you the job. When it gets you the job, that's the right CV that you're looking for. And how do you get it? When you do your first CV and you send it to the market and you don't get any calls, it's not working, right? So for if you do the CV and you got 5 or 6 calls, that means your CV is working. But after you do your CV and you get the course, you don't get a job. So it's not your CV that's the problem. So it's not how you handle the course that is the problem. So you need to focus on those ones. So let's say now you done the CV, you got the course, and after you've spoken, they ask you to come for the interview. So at the interviews, you've done like 3 or 4 interviews and you're not getting the job. So basically, it is not your CV that's the issue. It's not how you address yourself at the interview or how you are able to portray yourself at the interview. Also, it could be your CV. Maybe your CV does not align to what you are saying at the interview. So you need to look into that. But more often, it's on your delivery at the interview that you need to look into. So for fresher, it's gonna be hard, to be honest. I can tell you, you have to walk through the orders, to be honest. So for freshers, but however, there'll be what's it called, transferable skills that you can actually look into, to be honest, to say, okay, yeah, I have done similar role, I have been able to test similar project, I have done this one in similar roles. But as you can say, I have told you in the first instance, most people will have done testing in one way or the other, maybe as a form of informal testing or when you've done. So those ones that you need to put into place, and you need to also put your enthusiasm even at the forefront to say you are willing to learn, you are willing to. So in most cases, also some uh, companies who are looking for freshers, they are looking for 1 year or 2 years experience. I know some other companies also that are looking for people to train. As long as you've got that skills and also you are also quick to learn and you are not applying for big roles, to be honest, looking for 50,000 when you haven't got the experience. So that's another thing. So for those ones, you need to know where to start. I think the first one that you do your CV, and you, even if you put 1 year experience or no experience at all, and you send it to most of the job profiles and everything, and you see what the response is, and you can actually gauge what the response is. When they call you to say, oh, I just started testing, but I've done this before, and I know that you will not regret it if you employ me, even though I haven't got the experience, but I've got all the technical experience that I've done training in this, I am certified, I've got this. It's only the experience I haven't got actually. And I can actually show you that I can build soft test framework. If you want me to show you, I can show you even today. But I'm okay to grow with you. Those are the what employer is looking for. They know you are not going to be expensive. They know that you are also eager to learn. I know you can come on board and run quickly with them. So that's another thing that you need to look into. So for people that are starting out fresh, it's something that you need to look into. So with 1 or 2 years experience or 3 years experience, even in different roles and everything, I think it should be fine for you to land a new an entry job. I would say sort of around maybe 20 to 30,000 in that regard. So okay, so I think that's that on job application. So I'll just quickly finish this. So, and if there's any more questions, let me know. So I just want to show how you would. So as you can see, you don't need to read the job spec for now. When you start at the first instance, you don't need to read the job spec. Just click on that. Click on different things. So click on add. So click, click. So that's 22. And I must mention that when you send your applications, okay, it's not 2025, okay, then you can say okay, and you view your basket, and yeah, these are the row you just click, and then you can send, apply now. So that will ask you to sign in, then you just apply as you go. So this will only take you check maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and you've applied to 25 rows. So then after applications, when your phone rings, please do pick it. I've seen instances when people are afraid to pick rows, to pick calls, but they can only tell you that they are sorry, I'm not going to take you. No one is going to stop you on the phone, right? So make a mockery of yourself. Don't put yourself on unnecessary pressure. Take the phone and use that phone as a form of, some people that don't have experience, it's the phone that you gain experience, because from there they will ask you, oh, what is Selenium, what is WebDriver, so you know what they are talking about. So you'll be able to answer some question. You some for some question you won't be able to answer. And I'll tell people sometimes, I have also many years ago, when someone asked me, when I was about to move into, I was doing manual testing and also doing some a bit of automation. So but I think was kind of basically in, what's it called, waterfall module, and they asked me if I know agile. Oh yeah, I've read agile. I told them everything I know about agile. The guy asked me, oh, what's your sprint, how many days your sprint, because the interview went very well, to be honest, and I didn't want it to spoil. Instead of him to say, oh, I not say, I just say pass, that you don't, I don't know the answer. But literally, it's it's not right answer, because one, there's no how you're going to be in an agile, work in an agile environment that you don't know how long your sprint is, to be honest. So by saying pass, it actually nullify everything I have answered. So but I look at that right now, like that was like many years ago, to be honest, and I smile at myself. I use it to even teach people. So you don't need to put yourself on pressure. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from what you say. You need to pick course. You need to be able to do that. It's very, very important. Don't be shy. Don't shy away from what you need to do. You The first 2 or 3 course, or even 5 course that you pick will be terrible. Don't withdraw into your shell. So still pick those scores, and you learn from those scores, and continue and continue and continue. It's very, very important. As you can see, they are not going to smack you on the phone. They can only tell you they are sorry. So, and they will be polite about that also. The least you get is like, we are not inviting you for interview, we are sorry. So, and you move on from there. But then you know that you correct what you said, you correct your mistakes, and also you have the internship also for you to get experience in what you are going to say. So, and it's very, very important for you to lay your hands on everything that we say, everything we ask you to do. Is very, very important. You have that luxury right now, that you can actually, everything that you put in your CV, everything that is what you will have done in the internship. So, and you have that in your hands to be able to do everything. So what you cannot defend, there's no point putting your CV. But you have everything that you can actually do, that you can through the internship from there. So this is CW, this is JobServe. Also, there is CW job also. So if you go to cwjobs.co.uk, and you can also do the same thing. So the same search, you can search for the same thing. So as you can see, this is 696 jobs basically. So as you can see, and this one, I think this should be more than that. So if you remove the fact that is in London, so and you search, and another thing also, when you are going to be 663, so if you are applying for, don't restrict it at all. I know some people say, oh, I only want to stay in Birmingham, I only want to stay in Manchester. When you are starting, you want your CV to go to all recruiters, so don't restrict it at all. To be honest, I will just say leave location open and then start to apply. Then from there, when they call you to say, oh, even at the point, it's okay, leave your options open. If they say it's Manchester, you go there and do the interview, because sometimes you can go for there and learn how to portray yourself at interviews, and learn and sometimes give yourself targets. I'm looking for London, but I can still go for Manchester and do interviews. Interview does not mean that you will take the role, to be honest, or they will take you. So you have option to decide not to take the roles, or you have options to for them not to take you. So these are two options. So that's sometimes I don't necessarily support people that actually say, oh, they didn't take me. So this should be two ways also, right? You could go in for interview and they take you, they want you, but you could also say, I don't want you. So it shouldn't be one side basically. So but it's not one side because you know what you know. So, but in most cases, it's always be one side because people will complain is the recruiter. Oh, they didn't take me. They didn't take me. But you should also be in that situation, that you place yourself in that situation whereby you have to reject offers. You have to reject people. But how do you reject people if you don't put yourself forward? You need to put yourself forward on most of the roles. So there is CW jobs also, and as mentioned, Monster also. Monster jobs. So if you go that also, you can see the monster jobs also. You can search the same thing. So you can apply that also. Then also, I've also mentioned LinkedIn also. I do fashion LinkedIn because then you can quickly get in touch with the direct recruiter, not recruiting right now as in the company, so you can apply directly. So you can see the roles there that you can. So most of these roles on LinkedIn are directly to the company that you're applying for, so you can apply to them directly. So it's very important. So some of them, I think I've worked for this company before, they're even recruiting. So yeah, so you could apply directly. In most cases, you would, when you're applying to those companies, you will be able to see people that have worked in that company before. Then you can actually talk to them and also get some feedback from them. So, and that's another thing. Some of them might be in your profile or in your connections. So as you can see, it's very important. You can use LinkedIn. It's really good, to be honest. So so okay. So I think in that regard, I would pause for a bit and ask. You can ask questions. So and so as you can see, we started this from beginning, and we've been able to do our CVs like that. When we started, we didn't have anything, so we just start from there. So, and I said two jobs and everything you can apply. So I said, I will repeat it also. When you first start, make sure you apply for all the roles available. all the roles, whether it's a manager or is apply for all the roles. Even if you are just starting right now, I know of a friend when he started, though, even some roles that I couldn't even apply for, she was applying for it, and they kept on rejecting her. And I said, just continue. If she was applying for test director, test manager, and everything, so and yeah. They keep on saying, "Oh, you're not qualified for this," or someone will keep your CV. But eventually, she got there at the end anyway. So, but yeah, do apply for all the roles is very, very important. Okay. Any question? Okay. Okay. For non-functional testing, more often than not, it's actually a specialized skill. But even though you do non-functional skills, you cannot call yourself a non-functional testing. For instance, I've done performance testing using load run, not load runner right now. So what's it called? Neoload. I've used Neoload. And also there's some performance testing tool that's also in Visual Studio. So as long as you are able to do them, right? And even in this internship also you have those ready to actually pick those roles. So I would say during the course of the internship, maybe we have only few, yeah, a few weeks right now, maybe 3 weeks left. So next week we're going to talk about API. So maybe we'll look that into performance testing. I know there's one of those guys even in the internship or that have trained before that got um, access, that got performance testing rules also. So, but I will look into them. I'll ask them if they can come in to actually train. So, but as a functional tester, you won't actually pride yourself as a non-functional. To be honest, it's another specialized skill. But in most cases, some people are looking for hybrid. They're looking for people that's got functional testing, core functional testing skills, but have done a bit of non-functional testing role. So then you can obviously say, okay, yeah, I don't say I am a performance tester or non-functional tester, but I can do it as time goes on. So that's what you could do. So you've done performance testing in some roles, but you're not that core performance tester because yeah, it's like saying, oh, I am a manual testing, but I can do automation, but I am not automation tester. Or if you give me automation testing things to do, I can, yeah, I might struggle, but I will still be able to deliver on it, basically. But if you ask me what's my core skill, I'm a manual tester, or the same, or vice versa. So that's what I can say on those ones. So, and there's another thing I wanted to say. So preparation for interviews, right? So let's talk about the preparation for interviews. What do I need to do? So, for instance, I tell people on this one right now. This is my CV, right? And in this CV, I have three roles, right? One is soft term limited, and one is, let's say this is even ABC. ABC, let's say is a senior, yeah. Let's say this is a senior test analyst, and also at ABC also I was promoted to a test lead. Okay, so let's say I've got three roles. Now, what I tell people now is like when you're preparing for your when you're preparing for your interview, you need to do something they call mind map. One, mind map is very, very important. So, and I can actually say something like, let me draw this one out. So this is me, right? So me, what's my experience? What's my education? And what is my, what would I call, skills? or tools. Okay, so in my experience, I can split this one into different roles that I've done. So softcom, what's that? Okay, ABC. So let's do that. Let's say this ABC. So, and then here, what's your role? Let's say this is my test lead, and this is my tester. Then here, what are your experience? You put your experience here. So that I did this. You put that, and the same way you do for your education also. You went to uni, this, and what's your degree? You have degree in data, and then what is you put that. Then skills. This is going to be very, very important. I've got Selenium, I've got Selenium WebDriver, I've got SpecFlow, I've got TeamCity. You put all the tools that you've done also, which sometimes could tally with here also, because experience may be your responsibility and also your tools also. So when you go for interviews and they ask you, talk about yourself, you go through the mind map. This is me, right? I have experience in this. So I have worked for Softcom, I have worked for ABC, and I've worked for so. At ABC, I was a test lead, and this is my responsibility at ABC and everything. At ABC, I use this role, this role. And also I have also educated at this uni, and this uni I had this degree. So even based on my previous experience, I have told you I've got this skills, and I've used different tools. I've used automation at different tools. I've used this, I've used it. So basically that's what you want to portray. So basically when you are preparing, you can actually have this mind map, and you'll be looking into them even though you don't have it with you in you. You'll be looking into that. Okay, in this mind map, I want to talk about my experience, I want to talk about education, I want to talk about my skills. So what's the other I need to talk about them? Which one is the first one that I need to talk about? So you will not actually forget anything actually. So I've talked about ABC. Now I need to talk about Softcom. Softcom, what's my role there? What did I do? Which tool did I use? Or something like that. You put all those ones in perspective, and also you now talk about your tools that you use, and that's how to prepare. That's something how I prepare for this thing. So the same way also you could hold on. So you could also say, let's draw. You could say this is my skill now, and you could break that one down, and you could say this is my manual skills, this is my automation, and maybe the rest. In manual, what are the tools that I used? You can say VSTS or Azure. So, and boundary value analysis, BDD. So equivalent partition. So, and different things that you think manual testing entails, you put them. Automation, so BDD, TDD, web driver, put step definitions, all these things that you've done. Even let's say you put you could as well just say, okay, now this is mind map that we are actually doing. So you come, let's say you come here and say web driver. When you're doing web driver, Selenium web driver, what do? You have your step definition. So your step definition, you have your, maybe talk about your BDD feature file. So then what else do we also do in WebDriver? We talk about your maybe hooks. So inside your hooks, maybe before and after scenario. So talk about your, so in your feature files you can talk about getting, can talk about giving, when, then. Talk about your parameter, how do you do parameter in that. You talk about, so what else in the in feature files. So you also going to talk about data driven. So examples, maybe that also comes on how to use examples. So that is outline. So as you can see, you can have a lot of mind maps also. This is, we start from, where is that one that we did? So have I, oh yeah. So from you, your skills, and Selenium WebDriver, that's one I broke out. So, and maybe Specflow and also other tools that I use. So even the same way you can also do for Azure DevOps and do and bring it out as you brought the WebDriver, and just put your mind onto everything and do like that. So that helps you to prepare for interviews, to be honest. So, and you can be able to say now you've got everything mapped together and you can do that. So it's also important. That's what I'm going to ask everyone to do as the time goes on. So you need to have this for your CV. It's very important. Do this for your CV. So this is another assignment I'm going to give to you. You need to do this one out. So by Sunday you need to send it to admin at blueskycitadel.com, admin at blueskycitadel.com. You need to have a mind map of your CV and also for your skills and everything. So you need to send it across. And also you would need to send me a profile. A profile will be something like this: who you are, how you do. So also that should tally with your CV, right? So profile to say, if you, this mind map now, if you want to convert it into Word, what would you write basically? Where's that? Okay, yeah. So if you want to convert this in Word, what would you write? So basically, if they say, oh, you've got 5 minutes, talk through what, okay, talk about your CV for me, or who is standing before us. So you need to also write I would say 3 paragraphs about yourself is very, very important. So that prepares you for interview also. So 2 assignments, you need to do the mind map about your skills, about yourself, about your CV, and also write a personal profile that you should send to myself. And also, how do you send it? You send it to admin at RCCG, admin at Blue Sky Citadel. So that's what I'm expecting you to do for this week. And also, assignment number 3 is that everyone should do their CV by Tuesday. You should do your CV by Tuesday. And I also want someone to volunteer, right, to write this assignment down. So someone should be able to send it to the group for us. So this assignment that's very, very important. So that's number 3, CV by Tuesday. And then also from Wednesday, I want everyone to apply to all the roles, at least 500 on Wednesday, and from Thursday to Friday, 50 each. So next week is going to be 25 each. So by end of this week, at least you should be able to apply to at least 700 roles. 700 rows by the end of this week. So that is the 5th assignment for this week. Like I said, it's going to be very, very intense. As you can see, it's going to be very, very intense. But we are there to help you out, to be honest. So, and we only have few weeks, so it's going to be very, very intense. So brace up. So any question? Yeah, I do. I know some people are already working. So for people that are already working are not interested in application, so please also send your emails. Send to that email saying, "Oh, I'm not interested in job application. I'm only interested in the learning." So that's fine. So I will know people that I need to chase up, to be honest. So and that's fine. So we should be fine. So I know some people are already working. They are okay. So yeah. Yeah, I said yeah, you should start applying for job by Wednesday. So that would mean that you would get your CV, right? So for references, yeah, the school can give you reference, but as a school, to be honest, so as you can see, it is school. So we are not going to give reference that you work. So, but we can actually give you reference that okay, for the last 3 months you've been there. But yeah, so we can give you reference for that. So can we ask general question, not CV related? Yes, please. If you can, that's fine, no problem. What are the questions? All right, so I think that's everything. So I want someone to please write down the assignment and post it on the group so that then everyone, other people that are not here, can also do the assignment. For those ones that have not done the assignment for last week, please do them. The assignment for this week, as long as with these 5 that I've put right now, you also need to do the automation testing for the application for what you are testing. You need to do the application, you need to do the automation testing. You need to do the application, you need to do the automation for the testing. You've done the manual testing or you've started the manual testing. There, some people have raised bugs. If you've not actually raised any bugs, you've not actually done anything because that application is in a terrible state, I'll only send it to you so that you can be able to use it as a practice. So, and to be honest, I'm not going to look at those bugs unless they are critical. I will look into them, but it's just an exercise for you. But if you look at the application and you've not actually seen any bug, to be honest, you've not actually looked very well. So please look very well and raise as many bugs as you can. Thanks. Then also, that is number 6 assignment, right? So, and there's something I wanted to say. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to say. That answers the question. So the question was that what is the difference between acceptance criteria and getting? So yeah, getting is used to write acceptance criteria these days. You will see some acceptance criteria that's written in given when then. So getting is a language that is um BDD when you're talking about BDD, behavioral driven development. So you write it in Gherkin, and some acceptance criteria are written in Gherkin now. So it's not like that. What's the difference? So it's basically like some people write acceptance criteria in Gherkin formats. So that's the similarity between them. So and some acceptance criteria are not written in Gherkin, but some acceptance criteria are written in Gherkin. So as you can see, even in the assignment that I gave to you, some requirements are written in Gherkin. Also, some acceptance criteria also are written in Gherkin. So that's what I can say on those one. Okay. All right. So please do the assignment. Is very very important. So and most importantly, I would say the automation testing is very very important. Make sure you automate the manual testing that you've been assigned. So and send it across uh, using your GitHub profile. Upload, everyone should upload it on that page. Even it's okay to do it as a group, it's fine, or you can collaborate, but I want everyone also to participate also. It's very very important. And anyone that's not pulling the weight, I please team lead, let me know if they are not pulling their weight, so we can, yeah, because I want everyone to be able to benefit from it. So do your assignment and do it, and make sure you contribute to the group. Oh, all right. So that will be us for today. So we meet on Thursday again. All right. Thanks, everyone. So have a good evening.